Like, Michael Jackson was maybe a pedophile. Maybe not. But does that make his music any less entertaining? Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Candice James, and here we talk all things movies and TV. I give you really great reviews, suggestions about what to watch, and there's always something that we're drinking. And if you like any three of those things, then like and subscribe and hit that notification bell because there's always awesome content. Today, let's get started on my review of Lovecraft Country. So I watched the first couple episodes of Lovecraft Country without knowing anything about the show, and here's what I found. So I do want to give a spoiler alert. I do drop just a couple bombs about what you'll see. Nothing huge, nothing major, but just an FYI, guys, there are just a couple spoiler alerts in this video. So it takes place in the 1950s as a group of black folks drive across the segregated South, dun dun dun, in search of a missing family member. So it starts out as a story about racism, or so you think. The fatherly figure, played by Courtney B. Vance, the Great, or husband to the greatest, because we all know Angela Bassett is the GOAT. Can I get an amen, Tina Turner style? Now, Courtney B. Vance's job is to travel across North America, gathering information about how safe or not safe it is for people of color to travel in certain areas of the United States. Historically, this was called the Negro Motorist Green Book, or just the Green Book. It was a yearly publication from 1936 to 1966, published by a New York City mailman named Victor Hugo Green. And in this, he talked about different restaurants, lodgings, hotels, etc., that it was safe for any person of color traveling across the United States, that it was safe for them to stay there. It was also the basis of the 2018 movie of the same name, starring Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali. So you originally think that the story is about racism as the trio gets chased out of town by gunpoint by some racist homeowners there that did not want black folks anywhere in their town, whether passing through or actually staying for a visit. They also come across a racist cop in what's called a sundown town. Now, this is also a historical reference. It was an all-white town or county, and no person of color was allowed to be in that town after sundown for fear of humiliation, for fear of violence, or potentially death. Now, right from the beginning, some interesting and somewhat unexplainable things do happen, but they're so small that you kind of ignore it while you are linked into the bigger themes of racism that are happening. But it comes back up to creep by the end of episode 1 when we start seeing monsters and really unexplainable things, and you're like, this is no longer a story just about racism. Now, I don't know what to think, what the hell is going on, and I love it. It's like a predictable boyfriend switching up on you. Like, that boyfriend is gaslighting you. I am being gaslit, and I am 100% here for this abusive relationship. Lovecraft Country, hit me. But like I said, you ignored all those red flags along the way, and now there's monsters that come out after dark, there's Fitz from Scandal playing Aryan Adam, there's some Freemason society stuff, there's still racism, but there's a little bit of magic in the air as well. So there's enough mystery and unanswered questions that really drags you into the next episode. So I would say the introduction to Lovecraft Country, the first couple of episodes were absolutely amazing and really pushes you into watching the next episode. All right, guys, so today's drink, we've got Ace California pineapple flavored cider. So I'm a really big fan of cider because, I mean, it's beer that tastes like soda, so how can you go wrong? But I'd actually never tasted this before. I bought this specifically, I saw it in the liquor store, bought this specifically for Candi and Popcorn, and said, like, always willing to try new stuff and let you guys know how I think. It's super sweet, tastes just like soda. It's only 5% alcohol, and for those who are have gluten intolerance or vegan, it is both gluten-free and vegan, and no additional sugar added. So if any of that means anything to you, why don't you go ahead and pick up an Ace pineapple cider and let me know what you guys think as well. So I'll admit, I'm not super familiar with H.P. Lovecraft and his work, although I am familiar with Cthulhu. Now, that is saying much because after doing some research, I realized what a huge inspiration H.P. Lovecraft is and how he has really inspired many modern day writers. But I always find that when I don't know something, it is the perfect opportunity to start digging and learning, and a great opportunity for us to learn together. So Who the hell is H.P. Lovecraft? Howard Phillips Lovecraft was a Rhode Island horror and pulp fiction writer born in 1890. Now, you might ask, well, what the hell is pulp fiction? And I'm not talking Quentin Tarantino. The name came from a series of popular magazines that were published within the 1930s and 1940s on these really cheap pulp paper. And they were entertainment magazines. And what they did is pay writers really crappy, underpaid amounts, but they sold them for really cheap, about 10 cents an issue. Because of their cheap prices, they garnered a lot of attention. Many people were able to purchase these magazines. So writers like H.P. Lovecraft was able to really make a name for themselves and create notoriety for themselves in publishing their stories in these pulp fiction magazines. Lovecraft was born to a super affluent family, but his family's wealth dissipated after the death of his grandfather. He was never able to support himself with his writing, and even though being born affluent, he did die a poor man. He's proclaimed to be one of the premier horror writers of the 20th century, even influencing current day writers such as Guillermo del Toro as well as Stephen King. So whether you know HP's actual work, you probably are familiar with his inspiration in today's modern art. So he is said to be the influence behind the design of the Alien movies, as well as John Carpenter's writing of The Thing. So he wrote amazing stories like The Call of Cthulhu, At the Mountains of Madness, as well as The Shadow Out of Time. But let's also give credit where credit's due. He was an ardent racist and anti-Semite. Now, are we surprised he was born in 1890? Now, some have tried to distinguish the art from the character of the man, like Lovecraft scholar S.T. Joshi, who argued against changing the name of the Howard, which is a fantastical literary award. Joshi stated, 1, the award acknowledges Lovecraft's literary greatness, which says nothing about the person or character, and 2, it suggests that Lovecraft's racism is so heinous a character flaw that it negates the entirety of his literary movement. Listen, hard truths are still truths. Like, yes, he was a literary genius as well as a shit human being. Two things can be true at the same time. Like, Michael Jackson was maybe a pedophile. Maybe not. But does that make his music any less entertaining? But personally, I'd feel a little funny receiving an award based off of a racist. It might taint the achievement just a smidge. Okay, so I've said my piece on HP's racist character. So let's move on and talk about how his literary achievements will impact this show. I'm super excited to see where this season is going to take us, just because it has such a basis, a great baseline, right? Like, HP's character aside, his work is absolutely amazing. I mean, I think Jordan Peele is a genius in the making, and so I'm super excited. He is the director of this show, the creator of this show. So I'm super excited to see where him and the Monkey Paw team is really gonna take us on this season of Lovecraft. Guys, as a side note, I'm really big about stating my intent about what I want to manifest in my future. And so I just wanna say it is my hope that I can one day work for and with Jordan Peele as a writer, director, and actor. And so I hope to look back on this one day and be like, hey, thank you. And so with that, God, universe, Cthulhu, do your thing. And that's it, guys and gals. I am super impressed by the first couple of episodes of what I've seen of Lovecraft Country, and I can't wait to see more. If you've watched it, well, you know the deal. My channel is a dialogue, not a monologue. So find me in the comments, find me on social media. I want to know what you think. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell. I upload new videos every 1st and 15th of the month with lots of great juicy bonus content in between. So guys, stay tuned, and until next time, cheers.